Man, I was trying so hard just to be, to backslide, just enough to be normal. You know what I mean? Be regular. I started regular, went, "Oh, Lord." She said, "Yes." And all of a sudden, that doggone the call hit. And I just went, "This is Brother Dennis. Wanted to call and share with you at this time, pivotal time in our lives, where maybe you'd like to go out together and just see what great things God could have in store." I was going, "Oh, Lord, there that goes, it's gone." But her mother was standing nearby, and her mother said, "Go out with him. He is a man of God." Like, do this for Jesus, you know what I mean? My Catholic friends always give up something for Lent. Baptists take on more projects for God, you know what I mean? And so she sort of took me on as a project for God and went out with me. And we went out to eat at the Italian Inn there in Fort Worth off Camp Bowie. And we were down in there in one of these little booths, a little Italian Inn, ooh, romantic. And I was working so hard to be just regular, And man, we had our meal, and she was trying to relate to me as a, minister. And she said, "When I was a little girl, I sort of sensed God calling me to home missions." I said, "Baby, I am your home mission project." And she believed it, and we've been married now for, over 16 years now. But anyhow, I remember those days where, you're called, and you're called. You can spot us preachers anywhere. You can spot us at a football game. At a football game, we stand out at a football game. Layman will go, "Oh, man, come on, wait, oh, son of a," sort of share that unknown tongue, you know what I mean? And but we preachers, you can spot us because we're up there going, "Oh, my soul. Mercy, mercy, mercy." You can spot us. Spot us at a grocery store. The other day I was at a grocery store. I was going down aisle 7, a little Laurie, my sugar babe, gave me a little list of things to get, If she doesn't give me a list, I come back with things like Oreo cookies. Those little Snackwell devil food cakes, fat-free. We're talking staples, you know what I mean? I had my little list, and I was turning down aisle 7 and we men, if you notice, ladies, we men, we're not going to ask anybody where the Rotel, can of Rotel is. We're going to hunt it down like we're hunting. We'll look down every aisle. We won't even hardly read the signs that are hanging up there. The attendant comes by and says, "Sir, can I help you?" "I got it, son." Takes us forever and a day. I was going down aisle 7. This woman coming down the other end of aisle 7 has a basket. I don't know what came over me but the call of God. I just broke into Billy Graham, and I just said, "Won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Others are coming. Won't you come? Your basket will wait for you. Won't you come? We have some coupons here, some literature. These aisles are full of cans. I know you can. Won't you come?" Then all of a sudden I sort of snapped out and went, "Swanberg, you're in a grocery store." Man, I hooked him down aisle 14. I just went, "Good." Now I'm so embarrassed. I don't know what came over. The call of God hit me. This attendant comes up and says, "Can I help you?" As a preacher, when I looked at my list and I said, "Do you have any broccoli spears?" He knew then I was a preacher. We are something else. Many of you have wondered, do we talk that way all the time? Are we pastoral all the time? When we're at home, all alone, with our sugar babe, our honey love, our helpmate, our spouse, our partner, our love. When she's feeling amorous, amoreti in the Greek. When she says, "Hubba, hubba, hubba, come to mama." Is he pastoral then? Does he say, "I'll be there in a minute"? Or is he more like a deacon and go, "Whoa, honey, I'm coming"? You know, I mean, that. Woo! That's when I'm more like a deacon than any other time in my life. Well, anyhow, you know, you can spot us preacher. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's because, you know, preachers have gone before us. Maybe a Jerry Falwell. Liberty, 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 liberty. We don't have much liberty, liberty. We like it that way. Liberty, 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 liberty. Or Dr. Criswell at the First Baptist Church in Dallas, where we've just listened to those that have gone before us. And I don't know why we're pastoral. It's part of the call of God is on our lives. And that's just the way it is. I remember I'd go to the seminary, and I guess it didn't improve there. You know, you sort of get with all these preachers and get pastoral. I took all the preaching courses. And, you know, I know how to preach loud. I can be loud. I know how to speak softly and clearly. On occasions, I know how to cry. When you're in a building campaign. Whew, that'll make you cry, baby. We all cry together then. I've been to the seminary. I learned how to preach. I can use the high gestures for the heavenly, medium for the worldly, lower for the naughty. Combinations. They think, what a man of God. I learned how to take my glasses off when I preach. And they think, what a man of God. A man of intellect, a man of intrigue, a man of wisdom. And all I'm trying to do is remember, do the Cowboys come on in 12 or 3? Woo. I remember being up there at the seminary. I finally got that phone call I was dreaming of from First Baptist Church, Rogers, Texas, down there in Central Texas. They called me and said, Brother Dennis, we've got your resume and your Xerox picture. And you look good to us. Would you like to come and be our pastor? Would you like to pray about it? I said, I don't need to pray about it. I'm coming. Friend, when you only get one invite, go. And I remember when they called me up and they said, call me up again a little later. Said, Brother Dennis, it's not going to cost you a dime to move down here. I said, praise the Lord. I could just see it Allied. You know, I could just see it Mayflower. I could just see it Central 40. I could just see it Beacons. I could just see a big old truck. They said, we got a cattle trailer. We're going to spray it out real good. Come up there and load you up, bring you down here, won't cost you a dime. My little wife overheard that over the phone, and she lost it. Ah! She just lost it. He comes back on the line and said, Brother Dennis, is your wife charismatic? I said, no, she's just real excited about leaving Fort Worth, Hewlin Mall, North Hills Mall, Ridgemar Mall, going to Rogers, Texas that had one store called You Sack It, You Pack It. You know what I mean? We got down there. We had the best time. That is the greatest church in Central Texas. We love that place. Little Rogers, right between Buckholz and Heidenheimer, sandwiched in on Zopchikville and Jolie. I mean, a little country town, I tell you, it was great. I'd get there. I'd preach my heart out Sunday after Sunday. I mean, they were good folks. I mean, I'd give it everything I had. I remember there would be those times when I'd be back there, you know, with the choir, getting ready to go in the service. I'd say, choir, y'all ready to go? I always thought it looked good to walk in with the choir. And I'd say, y'all ready to go? And one little lady, she'd always say, Brother Dennis, should I have my V-neck up to my neck or should I show my collar? I want to say, lady, who cares? You know what I mean? But you don't do that, you know. You just be pastoral and say, looks good either way. We were family. We were close. I was wanting to get on out there, you know, and try to get out there by 11 because at 12 o'clock I had those deacons, the kind that stood at the back, you know, they always stood back like there's a riot going to happen. And at 12 o'clock they'd all go. So I was trying, let's go, let's go, let's go. Well, one time I was in the little room, which was the men's room, it was the ladies' room, it was the only room we had. We're an old country church. I don't know how to share this with you, but we were family. It was right next to the choir room. I knew they were in the choir room. They knew I was in the bathroom. That kind of fellowship. And all of a sudden, I heard them leaving me. I heard them, they were leaving me. Could they not wait on me? Oh, no, choir people, when they get ready. They're starting in a world of their own. Just got no. Man, I heard them leaving me. I hurried as fast as I could hurry. I opened up that door. I hooked them out there to try to catch the last one to, walk out there with them. I barely made it. Got out here on the platform. I was standing here. Everybody started laughing, giggling. I went, oh, no. It's happened. Well, I boldly just sort of looked down at my zipper, and my zipper was up and in the locked position. But I looked down and had a 6-foot piece of toilet paper on my shoe. What do you do in a situation like that? I just whipped it around my leg. Stayed behind the pulpit the whole time. I remember how I'd baptize. We had baptismal services, and we had some good ones. I remember I'd baptize. We had a beautiful baptismal little area. We had a mural that one of our ladies painted behind there, a mural, a picture of Jesus and John the Baptist. She painted it. She died. Her sister's still alive. The mural is still there at the church. Beautiful picture, Jesus and John the Baptist. Beautiful picture of those two Jewish men. They had blonde hair, blue eyes, beautiful Jewish people, standing in the Brazos River. That's a river in Texas. And this is what always got me tickled. Sheep and armadillos painted in the backdrop. One of our ladies said, I think it adds so much to the service. I said, it does add something, I'll admit. Oh, we had a good time. And I remember I'd preach my heart out, and sure enough, I'd get to baptize. And one time I baptized, and then I had the water too full. Well, it's happened to about every preacher, water too full. When I put them under, water went up, went over the glass, splashed on the choir, choir people. It is all over my robe. It is all over my robe. My robe is ruined. My robe is ruined. It is ruined. Look at number 43. Look at number 43. When you get back, it's ruined. It's over.
Then one of the men, it got on my V-neck thing. I just threw it in the washer when I got home, washed it, and threw it in the dryer, and now it's sort of poofy.
So what did the men do? The deacons got together,
And they said, Brother Dennis, let us handle this for you. Let us be a buffer. Let us be a buffer. Let us be a buffer. It's a sensitive issue.
I said, it is? I said, just a little water? It's a sensitive issue. So they met, and what they did to fix it was they put a drainage pipe in the back left corner of the baptismal pool that was 3 inches lower than the glass. So if the water ever got too high again, instead of it going over the glass, it'd go down the drainage pipe in the back left corner. I said, great, great. Next time I was baptizing a mature woman. Mature in every area of life. And she got in there. I'm good size. Felt that water started going up. The people were going. The ushers in the back.
It's going over. It's going over. It's going over.
But it didn't go over. The water was going up, but it was started going down that drainage pipe, just like they planned. Have you ever heard water being sucked down a drainage pipe? I mean, it would go. Man, it's the worst sound you've ever heard in church. I quickly took my left hand and tried to squelch it out as best I could. I got one arm left to baptize this mature woman. I'm going, man, how am I going to do this? I was young in the ministry. I thought, do I grab her by the hair and just yank her down? You see, I knew she would come up. People are buoyant. People are buoyant. They'll bob right on up. It's getting them under this heart. Usually I have them cross their arms. I put them in my hand right here and do a chiropractic move on them, you know, to get them under. I hate to baptize, bring them up, and they got a dry patch right there, you know what I mean? That's what makes men go bald. But anyhow, you know, they missed that part there. Well, here I am. I got my left hand here. I'm going, how am I going to baptize this woman? I mean, how am I going to get her under? Well, I was raised a Methodist, remember. I was raised a Methodist, and I was Methodist for 19 years before I went to Baylor University, before they put me under till I could bubble. And so the next thing I knew, there I was, and I just thought, well, I'll whisper something to her like a ventriloquist. I didn't want anybody else to hear. I just went up to her ear, and I said, could you squat down? And she didn't know that women would be quiet in the church. She said, squat! I said, just a little. Could you squat on down? Could you squat down? If you love Jesus, if you love your mama, squat on down. So she squatted down as far as she could squat. Water came to about her lip. I said, could you squat down just a little further? She said, I have squatted as far as I can squat. I didn't know what to do. I just took my right hand and splashed the rest up. Sort of like a zealous Methodist. I just laid one, splashed her real good. And she thinks she'd been baptized. And you learn to have a sense of humor. I remember when I went on from First Baptist Church, Rogers, Texas, I went to First Baptist Church, Saginaw, Texas. At First Baptist Church, Saginaw, Texas, oh, what a great ministry I had. I love those people, fine folks, just 7 miles north of Billy Bob's in Fort Worth, the stockyards. You know what I'm talking about now. And they're great folks. I remember on Easter Sunday, never will forget, it was packed. You know how everybody comes to church on Easter. I mean, it was packed. Man, I was ready to go. Our high school basketball coach was giving his testimony. Had a little lavalier mic on we just purchased. I mean, he was ringing the bell. I was sitting there going, go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. I mean, people wall to wall. I was ready. All of a sudden, right as he's giving his testimony, all of a sudden water started dripping from the ceiling above the choir. Water just coming through the ceiling, dripping on the choir again. Our air conditioning units were up there. The condensation fans were overflowing. Water was dripping literally through the ceiling onto the choir. Once again, choir people. Women were trying to scoot over. Incognito, and everybody felt the thunder. But anyhow, you know it. And finally, a couple women looked at their men like, do something about it. 2 men got up and went out the side door. I know I shouldn't have done this, but I prayed, Lord, take them home. You know, but it was wrong. It was the wrong thing to pray. I knew what they were doing. They were going up to the attic. All they need to do is turn off the air conditioning units, but oh no, they're going to go up in the ceiling. They're going to go up there in the attic. They're going to fix it. They're going to be heroes. We heard them walking up there. And all of a sudden, you heard of it happening. It happened. Terry came right through the ceiling. Whoosh! Crashed through right above the baptistry. Comes through, his little legs come through. He's trying to step on something. There ain't nothing to step on. He's holding on these 2x6s as far as life, holding on, and everybody goes, oh, oh, just scares everybody to death. His mama was sitting over in what we called the Afghan division. We always had about 3 rows full of little Afghans that they had crocheted. They left them in there year-round. Those that were cold-natured Afghaned up every service. She was over there and she went, Terry! You know, she recognized his chubby legs. He was holding on for his life. I mean, pants torn, he was bleeding, he's holding on. The coach turns and sees him up there. And the first, he starts talking to me. Only preachers can pray this fast. I said, Lord, don't let him say something he'd say on the basketball court. You know what I mean? Not that he would. Not that he would, but that he could. All they need to do is turn off the air conditioning. Go up there in the attic, they're going to fix it. They're going to be heroes. He says, Brother Dennis, we having a healing service? Someone coming through the roof. I knew what they were doing. They were going there. Everybody just... I mean, people love it. You know, you love for things to go wrong in church. I mean, there are people going, man, we ought to come here every Sunday. You know what I mean? This is great. That's not the bad part. Now, this is the bad part. While he's hanging there, the other guy up there starts talking to him like we can't hear anything. He says, can you see anybody? While he's hanging there, he says, I can see the floor. They pull him out of there, they get him out, they go to sheetrock just to swing. Flash through right above the bed.
step on something. I ain't nothing to step on. He's holding on these 2x6s for his life, holding on. And everybody goes, oh, just scares everybody to death. His
There was this one rancher there. This is a true story. I knew what they were doing. They were going up to the attic. All they need to do is turn off the air conditioning units, but oh no, they're going to go up in the ceiling. Rancher, he was the.
I knew what they were doing. They were going up to the attic.
He said these words, Brother Demas. Told my wife, no need for me to come.
I knew what they were doing. They were going up to the attic.
You got to have a sense of humor. I remember when I was in First Baptist Church West
All they need to do is turn off the air conditioning, but oh no, they're going to go up in the ceiling. They're going to go up there in the attic. They're going to fix it. It'll be healing. We heard him walking through. And all of a sudden,
I mean, our deacons, they got the big been led of the Lord on Super Bowl Sunday, and I
Terry came out of the scene. Flash through right above the baptistry, comes through his little legs, come through.
Sunday. I mean, to see an entire football game on Sunday. We preachers never get to see an entire football game on Sunday.
Terry came out of the scene. Flash through right above the baptistry, comes through his little legs, come through. He's trying to step on something. I ain't nothing to step on. He's holding on these 2x6s for his life, holding on. And everybody goes, oh, just scares everybody to death.
Double thickness where it doesn't sweat. You can set it wherever you want to set it. Does have some water in between the glass somehow. It gets in there from the dishwasher, but it doesn't come out. Don't worry about it. My favorite glass has little ducks painted on it. She puts Diet Coca-Cola in there because I am concerned about my figure. Take that chip, drag it through there. I mean, it's perfect texture. Lift it up, one drop, put the whole thing in your mouth. I'm going, My wife comes in and says, baby, love, you seem so relaxed. I never see you like this on a Sunday night. You're just so relaxed. You're so happy. You're just so at peace. I went, baby, do you think this is why they don't come back to church on Sunday night? Preach it, Swan, preach it. Well, I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to give y'all a little extra more. Y'all are such a good crowd. Can you hold on just a little longer? I got a couple more good ones for you. All right, okay. I got a dear friend named Benji and his wife, Connie. They're in the ministry. They're one of my own kind. You need to understand something. We in the ministry, we're normal, regular people. We're just regular folks. We're God-called, but we're regular. We're sinners just like everybody else. And in our marriages, sometimes we have little tiffs and tough times. I know my sugar baby and I do. I don't like to call them arguments, maybe just discussions. There's a Hebrew word for that, bakar, which means a whole bunch of bull. But old Benji and Con that day, that had a little tiff, you know, a little tiff, you know, on that Friday. You know, she just didn't think he did enough and wouldn't help out enough, you know how, you know. And so they had a banquet that night at church, real formal thing. I mean, really going to be nice. Ladies going to wear the formals, and the men were going to dress up, and so they had to go. And he was on staff. He had to be there, you know, in the ministry. You got to go. And they're going to have to fake it the whole night. You know what I mean? They're just going to have to act like everything's fine. Well, sure enough, she's put on her formal, and she's got one of these long zippers, you know, from the waist all the way to the neck. You know, one of the long jobber dues. She can't really get it all the way up. She said, "Do you think you can help me with the zipper? Do you think you can do that much?" Oh, baby. Old Ben says, "Yeah, I can do it. I can do it." He grabs that zipper, goes on up there, gets up there, and he thinks, "Well, I'll have a little fun." So he goes, and all of a sudden, it broke it. Oh, baby. Oh, but he broke it. She said, "You did not break my zipper." You know, they had to be there in about 15 minutes. He said, "I'll fix it." So we got some pliers, couldn't fix it. They had to pin it. She had to put a shawl on in June. You know what I mean? And so she said, "I'm so embarrassed. I've never been so embarrassed." She didn't have another formal. She said, "I have to wear this. I have to wear a shawl my grandmother made." He said, "Well, you look good, baby." She said, "Oh." They get in the car. They get there. As soon as they get there, you know, they see people, hey, great. Hey, doesn't she look great? Doesn't she look great? "Oh, yeah, Connie, your shawl is really nice." She went, "Oh, my grandmother made it for me. And I knew it'd be cold tonight up here. It's always so cold, you know, and I just thought I'd wear it to stay warm." And they went, "Yeah, great. Wish I had one." But anyhow, you know how. So they went through that whole evening, and they got in the car to go home. She said, "I have never been so humiliated and embarrassed my whole life." And he said, "Honey, everybody said you look great." They were lying. They were just being Christian. They get home. They go to bed. They don't pass go. They don't collect $200. I mean, they don't. You know, they just go to bed. She sleeps on her side. He sleeps on his side. If you can understand what I'm trying to say. Next morning, she gets up ahead of him, gets all dressed, fixed up. She sort of wakes him. He said, "Hey, what are you doing, Connie?" She said, "Benj, I'm going shopping. I'm going to buy me 2 formals. I'm going to charge him with a credit card. I don't care what Larry Burkett says. Do you know?" Woo-hoo, baby, yeah. So all of a sudden, he said, go ahead, be a bad steward if you want to be a bad steward. Go ahead. So she hooks him. She comes back that Saturday afternoon about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She pulls up, and there's old Benj underneath his car working his heart out, doing something, changing oil or something. She gets out and carries all these bags, you know. She goes up by him and stands there, and he, about this much of his body is showing, you know, the rest underneath the car. She just looks down there and sees his zipper. And she just sort of tempted, and she goes, "Oh," puts stuff down, reaches down and goes, there, picks her stuff up, walks inside, puts her stuff on the kitchen table, goes back into the den, and there's Benji watching television. She loses it. She goes, He said, "Connie, I'm sorry about the dress. I'm sorry about it." She said, "I don't care about the dress. Who is underneath our car?" He said, "Oh, Bubba from next door. He change the oil in his car and said while he was at it, he'd change the oil in ours. She went, oh. He said, what's the matter? What's the matter? She told him what she did. He said, you did not. You did not. I went out there. I didn't know. I thought it was you. I just grabbed this. She looked at him. She said, you go out there and you do something to fix it. She said, if you don't, and you better not let him know it was me. If you let him know, if you let him know it was me, you will not be singing what a fellowship, what a joy divine. You understand what I'm saying? He understood her language there, and Benji goes out there. Bubba's still underneath the car. He said, hey, Bubba, come on out. I need to talk to you. Bubba does not move. He squats down there and looks underneath there. Bubba is out cold. He pulls Bubba out. Slaps him on the cheek and said, Bubba, Bubba, Bubba. Bubba goes, Benj, I was putting the last twist on your oil filter. Some woman came and grabbed my zipper and started zipping on my zipper and said, I tried to look up to see who it was, must have hit my head on the manifold. Benji said, I've heard about her. She lives way down the street. She lives way down the street. Yeah. Why do I tell you such a story? To tell you that we take ourselves way too serious most of the time. Life's too short. Life's too long not to enjoy. It really is. You know, the purpose of man is twofold. Number one, to glorify God, and number two, to enjoy God. To enjoy Him. He enjoys you. He made you special. He loves you big time. And you need to be able to enjoy Him. But the one thing that keeps us from enjoying Him is that old sin in our lives.
Flash through right above the bed street. Comes through his little legs, come through. He's trying to step on something. I ain't nothing to step on. He's holding on these 2x6s for his life, holding on. And everybody goes, oh, just scares everybody to death.
Joy, forever joy in your life, the abundant life that's eternal. I encourage you to choose Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ is the joy. And you are His joy. I'm His joy. Think about it, what it says in Hebrews 12. For the joy that was before Him, He endured the cross and despised the shame. Did you catch that? For the joy that was before Him. He endured the cross and despised the shame. Why? As you read on down, so that you won't grow weary and you won't lose heart. But everywhere I look today, I see people that are losing heart. They're losing courage. And today, if there's ever a day for joy, it's for today. But it's through Christ, but it's always a choice. And I choose Him. And I choose that kind of joy. We all have different roads to hoe, different paths to travel. We all have our problems and health. I'm just so glad that what the circumstances picked up a little bit out of the movie Shenandoah, picked some out of my family, my grandparents, my loved ones. And here it is, Sweetheart Special, in the voice of Jimmy Stewart. I remember one I was just a little boy. I was just a, well, normal, average kiddo. And one day my daddy said, Jam, you need to date some girls. And I said, well, Daddy, I ain't seen none out here in the country. He said, well, you need to date some girls if you want to be normal. I said, well, just send them my way. He said, well, I'm going to send them your way. Saddle up old Blue and go down to Murphy's barn. They're having a do-si-do down there, and I want you to go. So I saddled up old Blue. Blue was 14 too. And I rode down there, and they were do-si-doing and Virginia reeling, and I don't know why. I wasn't in the mood, you know. I wasn't in the mood. Maybe I was a little shy too, but I wasn't in the mood. So I went back behind the barn and got me a chew. I got me a chew. Had it all in there situated just perfect. And looked over yonder, and I saw this gazebo. Y'all know what a gazebo is, don't you? Sort of a souped-up chicken coop. And it had the prettiest little gal in there that I had ever seen. Fellas, you won't believe what I did, but I threw out a perfectly good chew. But I saw where it landed. I went over there to that gazebo and I said, hi, my name's Jemmy. What's your name? And she said, my name is Martha. I said, Martha. Martha, why, that's a beautiful name, Martha. Do you want to dance? She said, I'm a Baptist. I said, well, can you walk? And she said, with the best of them. So we started walking and talking. And why, the next thing I knew, she was walking down that aisle, and we got married. We did. Well, we kept walking and talking. We'd walk out in the country, out in the pasture, in those little trails we developed over the years. One day we was walking, talking. She said, Shoogie Woogie Boogie. I said, yeah, honey, love, baby, darling. She said, well, sweet thing, I'm PG. Wait, I said PG. Well, we never said pregnant. We just said PG. I said, praise God. Well, we kept walking and talking. We had Henry and Nathan and Sam and Buford and Harley, Sarah, and then we had the boy. And when she had the boy, she walked on to be with the Lord. And oh, how I miss my Martha. I miss her more than some of you know. All the kids grew up and went their own way, and they're good kids, and I love them, but oh, how I miss my Martha. I love her so. One day I was so low and so blue, I got in my truck and drove over to Murphy's barn. It's about to fall over, but it brought back memories. And I went walking behind the barn, and no, that chew isn't there. And then I went over to that gazebo. It's as pretty as it ever was, just like the day I saw her. Somebody must have been keeping that little thing up. I went walking down those paths out in the pasture where we'd walk and we'd talk and we'd laugh. And boy, I miss her so much. Finally, I just fell down on my knees. I was so low, and the Lord spoke to me. He spoke to me. Now, it wasn't an audible voice. I ain't never heard him speak in an audible voice. The closest I ever heard him speak in an audible voice was when Martha would talk to me. She was a godly woman. But he spoke to my heart. He spoke to that. He said, don't walk ahead of me and don't walk behind me. Walk with me. Walk humbly with your Lord. But now, Jimmy, that's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. choose joy, Jimmy, for your journey. And I got up again, and I started walking and talking, and I started laughing. I remembered things in Martha did, sad little tricks she pulled on me. I laughed and cried, laughed, and I chose joy. I've said all that tonight. I've come here and all this tonight to just say this to you. Enjoy the journey. The joy is not at the end. It's not at the beginning or somewhere a mile marker along. Enjoy the whole thing. And yes, there will be a great, great day when we see him face to face. But his grace is such that he wants you to enjoy it all. But it's your choice. I pray that it's your choice every day of your life. God bless you. And thanks for letting me come. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord.